What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Break It Down, the show where we're always speaking to amazing artists, musicians, and excellent individuals in the music industry. And with us today, our guest is Ryan from Man Bites Dog Records. Been releasing a slew of dope music lately. Guilty Simpson, Copyright, Rico James, Double AB, Chrome, Bandito, and many, many more. So, Ryan, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah. For our audience that may not know much about you or Man Bites Dog Records, just tell us a little bit about yourself and the label.
Label started in 2006. We're located here in the DMV area, which is DC, Maryland, Virginia. We're kind of a late 90s, early 2000s sound, very kind of brutal rhymes, hard beats. We started out our first couple projects. We did a re-release of the Megahertz album Table Scraps. We put out a couple copies, a couple albums with copy. Ultrasound, Life and Times, God Save the King, the Megahertz record. Most recently, we did the High Exalted 2, Scene 1. We got Scene 2 coming out soon. Also got an instrumental album coming out with me soon to Your Garbage Kid. It's going to be really dope. We've released a lot of records over the years. We took a little bit of a break for a little bit. We got busy with our record store that we started here in the Northern Virginia area. So now we're back. This year has been really busy and got a lot more releases coming up even.
Nice. And Megahertz, that's the same Megahertz that produced on Get Rich or Die Trying, right?
Oh, no. Different Megahertz. Megahertz is RJD2, Copyright,
Okay.
Kamuteo, and Jakai and Tage.
Okay.
So Camus passed away. So we put out the Table Scraps album, which originally Bobito had put out on Fondle 'em, and then it went out of press for a while and it wasn't up anymore. So we had put that out, and then about 10 years ago, we put out Megahertz, the Megacy album, which is a really dope album. RJ did 4 or 5 songs on that. Harry Fraud did a song on that. Danny Brown's on it. Pretty fun record.
Nice.
So, and then we've continued to make records with Copy. We just dropped that album with Guilty. So we've got another project with Oh No that we're going to be releasing. So Dub Sonata is going to be dropping something really soon. So we're re-releasing his Nights in Cuba album and also putting out a producer album within the beginning of next year called Tranquilizer Dart.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, MDOT shared not the track, but the track listing for the Dub Sonata. So him and Rev are on a track, and a lot of other dope artists. So
they're doing a video for that.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I mean Dub's a dope producer, so I'll always like his beats. What made you want to start this label?
When I ended up in Germany in high school, and when I got there, I had gotten into hip hop before I'd left. I was living back here actually in the DMV, and then I went to high school over there. And while I was there, it's a different environment there. So they were very into turntablism. So when I got there, nobody was listening to vinyl in the States. When I got to Germany, it was like all of my German friends that were into hip hop, they all had turntables. They were like active. They weren't just like casually listening, they were like involved. And because obviously I spoke English, they were constantly encouraging me to write rhymes because they just wanted somebody who spoke English to rap for them because a lot of them were producers or DJs. So I would come over, we would hang out, and then I would spit a couple of verses, and then I got my own turntables, started making beats, and then I ended up at film school in Florida at a place called Full Sail. Now, Full Sail is inundated with rappers and producers. There's a lot of them there, and I met a bunch. So a bunch of my friends were rappers and producers. I was doing film, and they were doing the audio course because they wanted to be their own engineer. They wanted to learn how to engineer for themselves and then engineer for other people and make money. Sure. So that's actually where Count Fifth on the label went. He went to Full Sail as well. So I got done with that. I came back up to the DMV area, and it really started out making a documentary called Off the Ground. It's a documentary about hip hop. And I was going to hip hop shows and I was interviewing people. And then I was going other places and interviewing them. And the guy that I was doing a lot of the stuff with, he was slowing down. And I was like, well, shit, I need to get a couple more interviews to finish this thing. So I was like, well, it can't be that hard. Let me book a show. And then that way I can interview the people before the show. So the next thing I know, I'm a show promoter and I'm promoting shows. And then I have all these local acts coming to me asking me to get on the show. And they don't have any organization. And then one of them asked me to manage them. And it starts turning in. So it's always like a snowball effect. Like you do one thing and then it rolls down into something else. And the next thing I know, it's like I have a record label. And originally it was with a couple other guys, and those guys aren't around anymore. And you really, if you would have asked me in the beginning, hey, you're gonna have to do this thing on your own, I would have been a lot more hesitant because it's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work. And at the end of the day, most people are not happy because literally they're handing you their dream. Okay. And unless you make them rich and famous, bro, you're not hitting the mark. So, we do what we can, but the game is a bit rigged.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
I hate to burst anybody's bubble, but it's a bit rigged. You know, we've spent obscene amounts of money on records, like a lot of money, and it's drop in the bucket, bro. It's nothing. Like you have to understand, like the amount of money that the majors spend, even the little tiny, tiny majors, the little bit of money they spend, it's so much more. Like for us to think about spending two or $300,000 on our records, that's obscene. None of us can consider that,
Right.
bro. That'll wipe you out for life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you know. And what do? You put two or 300,000 on one record and it doesn't hit, bro. You're done. You're done. You're done. That's the end of the label. Everything's packed up. But in order to get some of these releases to that next level, I think you have to. And unfortunate, that's how rigged it is. And it's every day. It's like the powers that be every day are trying to squeeze us bit by bit, you know. And it's little things like ads on Instagram. Like that's the biggest squeeze.
Sure.
Once you start that, you can't stop
Right.
because the algorithm knows that you paid.
Right.
Let's be real.
Yeah, yeah. They'll show
You,
you less
you
if you don't once you start paying, if you stop, then they don't show you as much as you did organically before because they want to show you what you can get if you pay. Here's what we can do if you don't. Yeah. Double-edged
yeah,
sword.
the sad thing is that it trickled outwards. So it used to be like one of the social medias did that. But take a look at YouTube now. Our YouTube channel has almost 12,000 subscribers to it, but they're all hidden behind a paywall. That's what YouTube does. And it's because they're owned by Google, you have to do Google ads to promote your YouTube videos, which are the most expensive.
Right. Yeah.
So, my biggest piece of advice that I try to offer to people is try to game the system a little, just a little, because this is a sad thing to say, but your website, your personal website, is probably not going to come up number one on the search engine. Like when an artist searches for you, Bandcamp is probably going to beat you to the punch
Sure.
because Bandcamp's going to pay for the Google pay click that you're not going to pay for. So there's a lot of artists out there that aren't utilizing things like Bandcamp even. And it's like I recommend everybody uses Bandcamp. It's as long as they keep paying for the Google clicks, then utilize that, game it a little bit, you know. So that way you can get found, and unless you're going to spend a lot of money on doing search engine optimization, which most independent artists are not going to.
Yeah, and Google's algorithm can flip, and that SEO is nothing. And you got to start all
Yeah.
over again.
Yeah.
In Bandcamp, I've heard complaints. Oh, they take 10%. I go, okay, build a website, pay someone to manage it. You want e-commerce, you got to pay for that too. You want to be able to take credit cards, you got to pay for that too. And so, you know, we've had great experience with Bandcamp. I mean, I think it's just 10%. I don't know if they go up or if it fluctuates, but 10 or 15. But um,
I think it's 10, maybe 12% at the
okay,
most. Is I think what it runs.
and that's
It's
that's
nominal.
yeah, that's nominal. Yeah, it's not crazy. It's not exorbitant. And uh, if they're going to host all of your stuff, you can sell merch on there. You can sell vinyls. They'll print the vinyls for you. It's expensive, but you
Mhm.
know, uh, it's opportunity that you would have to spend time and money yourself going and figuring out. So,
Yeah.
um, just like an agent or a manager, like
Yeah.
nobody's going to work for free. So Bandcamp has built this platform where people can stream 30 seconds of a song, a whole song. Um, yeah, I agree. Bandcamp is a great platform, and more
Yeah.
people should be
It,
utilizing it.
that's a good one.
You've got a bunch of albums that you've come out with recently. Guilty Simpson, Copyright Double AB, Impulse. You mentioned. Uh, if we were to play a song as we usually do, we usually play a clip. What's a good track that we can play? Kind of premiere it, I
Yeah.
guess, for the audience.
Definitely. Let's play "Go Where I Please" from the new Guilty album.
Okay,
That would definitely be dope.
excellent. So this is Guilty Simpson. Go where I please. Check it out.
Produced by Count Fifth.
Peace to the real. Joe Simpson in here. Yo. I fear nothing. I go where I please. Blowing my trees like the hurricane breeze. Nothing like these MCs. I steer better. I walk them straight to the water and make them jump. That's peer pressure. I will stress you. Imagine a late bill that spray steel. I got played so much it's like I can't feel. Still keep yak on spill with the eighth to kill. Play the field where the war scars have a story. I'm checking off every category in Cougar Town. Holding my 40. Bad chicks shoot you down to get the glory. Check it. It's not about your words. She know your type, it's all about the curve. Do not disturb. I inhaled and blew out the herb, and everything I spew out superb.
And that was Guilty Simpson, Go Where I Please. So all the links will be in the description below for Man Bites Dog Records. The Bandcamp is the main place you want to go check it out. So that will be the top link. So Ryan, are you actively engaging with artists to bring projects to Man Bites Dog? Are there a lot of artists that bring a project to you? Do you collaborate with producers and artists? Can you give us a little peek behind the curtain?
Yeah, I usually have my hands kind of involved. I like to be involved from the beginning. So, for instance, this Impulse project, Astronaut Visions, I was involved with helping get all the production. So I reached out and got beats from different people. As far as the artist, I built with him. We talked about different artists to get. He had some people in mind, like Slug, who he reached out to, whereas I reached out to other people like Dewey Bins or Fatboy Sharif. So it's a true collaborative experience. We do have other artists that will bring us finished product. Brando Bambino brought us Bandito recently. That was fully finished. Hold on a second. That was fully finished. Um, so it's kind of a case by case. I do prefer to work on something from the beginning. because it feels more organic. And that way I kind of know the whole way through of what's going on. So when it comes time to market and promote it, I have a better understanding instead of just coming in at the final hour and helping.
Okay. So Impulse, that's the next release coming out.
Yeah, it's coming up next Friday, September 2nd. That comes out. That's going to be a really good project. We've got we're dropping a video next on the 2nd as well with Slug from Atmosphere and with copyright. It's produced by Bronze Nazareth. And Pulse and I, we became puppet operators. The whole video is puppets.
Nice.
So it's really cool. It's an interesting video. It's actually shot at the record store. So I think it came out really good, but everybody go check it out. It's called Prized Horse. So hopefully they'll pop a link up and you can go check it out.
Yeah, we'll link to, it's going to be on the Man Bites Dog YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. Go to our YouTube channel and it'll be right there. So yeah, it was a fun video. We've got Nights in Cuba that we're going to be putting out. That's with Dub Sonata. So that's an album where he went to Cuba, got a bunch of records, had to smuggle them back from Cuba, and then made an album a number of years ago, and then went back recently and added a bunch of tracks. And it's gonna be the first time in vinyl, plus an additional 6 tracks. And then we've got on the 11/11, we're dropping Fall Sounds, another project that's with Impulse and Rico James. Dope. So, and then we're going to be doing Do Androids Dream of Electronic Sheep with Count Fifth, and that's a greatest hit. So that's going to be a really good project for Count Fifth. It's got his song he did with Nas and Kill a Priest, Gun for Gun's going to be on there. Wow. It's got the Helter Skelter song Never Ending that we did. It's got the joint with Dak and Royce and Gilly the Kid and Planet Asia and everybody. You're the Gun. So that'll be a really good one. And then we're doing another project with Rico, Kinetic Force. That'll be in December. And then next year, we got the Ono project next year, the Dub Sonata, the Dewey Bands. So
awesome.
It's going to be fun, man.
You guys are constantly putting out great stuff. So that's awesome for the community. And
and another copy, we got the copyright High Exalted Scene 2. That's getting ready to come out, plus the instrumental. So, yep.
That's great. Well, keep doing what you're doing. Especially for artists that need somebody like yourself and a label like yourself.
I appreciate that.
It's great that you're out there. We're up against the time. That was my fault. But real quick, is there an album that exceeded your expectations going back from the beginning? Is there something you remember where maybe not necessarily you didn't think it was going to do as well, but it did much better than you thought and was maybe one of your better releases?
It's so I go into all of these releases like thinking all of them are going to be like, I really have that optimism where I think that every single one. So I'm usually like the artist where I'm more likely I'm disappointed versus surprised, because I think everybody on the label's the best. I really do. And I think that the artwork that we make together is it's artwork. So it's too tough for me to judge them. Most of the time, I'm just, at the end of the day, I wish that I could do more for the artist to get these projects to go farther. So it's just, unfortunately, sometimes things are not in our control. So we can just do the best that we can. And that's why there's tons of great artists and they've made these great albums. And the one thing I'll say in closing, and I always tell the artist, is that, you got to remember Van Gogh, because Van Gogh, he made 2,000 paintings that nobody wanted. Okay. People think that Van Gogh was famous in his lifetime. He was not famous in his lifetime. He had one person buy his paintings, and that person was his brother. Okay. So if you had a friend and all of his paintings were sold to his brother and nobody else bought those paintings, you would think that your friend is an unsuccessful artist. Okay. And judging in that time period, Van Gogh would be unsuccessful, right? But now take a look at Van Gogh. What if he had quit painting after 50? What if he had said, shit, nobody likes it but my brother, I'm going to go ahead and stop? We have 50 Van Gogh paintings instead of 2,000. Right. So you have to paint for the future. We make music for the future because maybe the present just isn't ready. You know, maybe it's going to take a little while for everybody to catch on. Maybe it's going to take one person to turn 1,000 people on. You never know, but you have to keep that hope and that faith that you're making great artwork. And if you're making great artwork, that eventually somebody else is going to see it.
That's awesome. That's a great point. I like that. Dude, thanks again for giving us some extra time here. I appreciate that. Let everybody know the best place they can find more of Man Bites Dog.
Oh, go check us out on Instagram. Check out our YouTube. Check out our Twitter. Check out our TikTok. Okay. And our website, manbitesdogrecords.com.
Awesome. All the links will be down below. So Ryan, thank you again. And that's it for today. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll catch you again on the next episode. Peace out.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Break It Down. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcast. If there's a song or video you want us to break down with an artist, hit us up on social media at Own Lane Music, or hit the artist up directly and mention our show. Maybe we can talk to him. That's it, everyone. Peace out.